What you drinking?
This is the Outer Range of the Colorado Rockies.
IPA?
Yep. The Lo and Behold Indian Pale Ale.
Nice.
It's good. You picked a good one. Brewed in Frisco, Colorado.
I didn't pick that one, bro. That was a good old JB who picked that.
Oh, all right. Good work. So I was a little eavesdropping at church.
Oh yeah,
a couple weeks ago. I was just sitting there by the check-in, as we do.
Yeah.
And he was talking to an adult woman, with his new bride standing there, and it was funny because they're talking about their honeymoon, and then they were talking about he said, "Yeah, we didn't leave the resort much," and I just started grinning, because
newlyweds.
I mean, you don't leave the resort. You don't even leave much of the.
You don't leave the hotel
building,
room that much.
So I just was like, anyways, I wanted to say something so bad.
Yeah.
But my time and place meter kicked in, and I didn't.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that's not how they meant it.
It isn't what you meant, but it's also one of those things where you say it because it's the truth, but then you also don't realize
how it comes off
or how you're outing yourself, just being like, "Yeah, we didn't leave the resort that much." But I just thought it was funny. It's like, well, yeah, bro.
Well, you don't really leave it in Mexico either.
Yeah, I was about to say, you're not supposed to, because you could get that decapitated. But also, anyways, so
that's funny.
Yes, sir.
Holidays are behind us. We're officially in the new year.
It is a brand spanking new year. Quarter century. Right?
It's no, it's not 250.
Century.
2025.
Yeah, 25. We're
I thought you meant quarter of a
millennium or whatever it would be.
Because that's going to be soon. That's next year.
Next year.
2026. It's 250 years, baby. Quarter of millennia that the U.S. has been around.
Oh, for the U.S.
Yeah.
I see. I thought you meant.
That's all right.
I'm
sure most of our listeners are that slow too.
You gotta get to either 250 for the quarter to get. It's pretty cool that we were alive for the turn. Into the 2000s. I was listening to this video the other day of this kid, and he was just listening to an NSYNC song, and this kid is just 7. He's just that song came out in the 1900s. I was just damn.
Take it easy. Okay, guy.
The 1900s. Oh, yeah.
A lot of people do think that we'll be one of the first generations to have quite a few, a good population of experience 3 centuries. You know what I mean?
Or if you're born 99, make it to
2100.
21.
Which is crazy, dude. That's crazy to think about.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to live that long.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think so either. Now, I do see then the weird thing is you do see those folks just when they're 99, just still walking, doing fine walking around. But I know that's probably not my path. I'm not a small Japanese man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm probably going to have a heart attack someday. Whatever.
There was this dude who was a part of the college ministry I was in, and he was the oldest surviving member of Pearl Harbor. Dude had been there, and I met him a couple of times, and I remember they asked him. We had a question Q&A thing, and one of my, I will say, college buddies, because we were kind of friends at the time. But he's just so what is the sex drive of a 106-year-old man?
He just had to know.
Which I thought was he opened up the questions to everybody. Some people were shaking their heads. I was like,
was this a co-ed group?
Yeah.
But
I was still that's fine. Yeah. I get it. This dude is old enough that he probably doesn't care. But he said it was normal, and it really didn't stop until he was 95.
Dang.
But once he hit 95, he noticed there was just no more craving or desire at all. Which is kind of like, imagine like you get to live 10 years out of your most peaceful bliss. Just you're just a man without any sex drive.
Yeah.
And it's not like I want to have sex but can't. It's just like
just indifferent.
Yeah,
You just
completely.
you'd rather do
like,
a lot of other things like mow
inner
your lawn.
peace.
I know exactly. That's like I wouldn't mind if it like hit like 60.
Yeah.
Now there's probably some 60-year-olds out there. Hey man, we got it. But just like the like, I don't know. Heck, back in the day when you were trying to keep it under control, you kind of hoping it would happen then. You're trying to live a life of purity.
I wish it kind of would have waited a little bit longer.
Exactly. Like, why does it have to happen from like, 18 to 25? This like, or sorry, 13 to 25. This like peak, like you're nurbing out there. You don't know why, especially just raging.
Oh, dude,
no outlet, no healthy outlet for you.
Yeah.
His
name was James Downing.
James Downing.
James Willis Downing, and he was 105 when he died.
Wow.
So in 2018. And I know the last time I met him was in like 2015.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like 103.
Mm-hmm.
But he was a cool cat. He was really cool. Had a lot of great information about what it's like to live that long.
Because he saw,
he was born and he was a baby during World War I.
Right. Just the technological advancements of the freaking worlds
in
his lifetime. I don't know. Do you think we'll make that many strides in a 100-year period?
Bro, I think we will.
Yeah.
I think we will see. Hear me out.
Is there a peak? Is there a pinnacle? Is there a plateau to like advancement? Like what's the?
Well, they're saying we already hit the wall for AI.
Okay.
Like that AI is already hitting a wall of like AI is as good as it's going to get right now until it becomes truly sentient.
Okay.
Like artificial sentient intelligence, ASI. I do think we will get in our lifetime, Pat.
Mm-hmm.
This is crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I do think we'll get in our lifetime to the Great Divide. And the Great Divide is like this scientific theory that not necessarily 50%, but like one part, like civilization will divide into two parts. One part will continue onward with technology in whatever that is, including being no longer human. And one part will deny and be left behind.
It would be like the Amish. But 50-50 split. Like,
that's the thing.
Yeah.
And like a lot of people think like the big point of that will actually arrive to sooner. Like I think a lot of people don't understand that like we'll probably get to plug your brain into the simulation and live for eternity in the simulation. And your whole body is dead, but your brain is so codified and backed up in terabytes and terabytes of data that like it just exists in this simulation, right? And I think a lot of people believe we'll probably get to that before we get to like the Matrix in the terms of like in the Matrix timeline, they reached cybernetic humans and androids, and like those being a fully functioning part of society before the download your consciousness came along. And I think a lot of scientists from what I'm reading right now, neurologists and stuff, are positing that we'll actually probably reach the download your consciousness well before we reach the androids, like, Terminator walking among us, and they have skin for the outside, but they're titanium exoskeletons internally, right? Like that's just not that's probably so much further away. And like we probably actually won't ever get to that because like a good 50 to 80% of the population, maybe even more, will just be like, yeah, immortality on, this computer server that is just going to be floating through space in like a protected area. And, it will exist for all eternity.
Mm-hmm.
And then those who don't want to go in it just like have to be, gardening the earth and are left behind.
Yeah.
And it's like, which it was just pretty interesting when you think about like you could end up in a scenario where like you have sub 1 million people on the face of the earth who didn't want to partake,
decided not to,
in the transcendence into, immortality.
It'll become, I mean, heck, like even as something as quote unquote simple in comparison to what we're talking about as Neuralink, like,
yeah,
I mean, I'm resolved about what I'm gonna do and not do.
I will say like Neuralink would be very tempting if I got paralyzed in a car accident.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's
like,
where there's always the gray areas. It's not so black and white.
And it's one of those things too where like I'm like, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get Neuralink. Like,
so you can be good at COD.
Yeah, but then like if Billie Jean got paralyzed in a car accident, right, and she wanted it to like because it'd make her life easier.
Yeah.
It's like, who am I to get in her way on that? You know what I mean? Like, as her husband, I love her, but I am going to support anything that helps her existence at that point. You know what I mean?
And then you have, like Neuralink, they're talking about it's going to help, like, make blind people see.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's the thing, too, though, right? I've told you I feel like a few years now, I've told you as soon as cybernetic eyeballs come out, I'm getting rid of these old dingy things.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, dude.
Just get a third one.
Just install it where?
Right in the forehead, bro.
I don't know if that's where it will go, but
that's true.
I feel like it's easier to just replace the ones I have and keep my eyelids and stuff rather than build new eyelids.
Yep.
But I do think like I'd be very tempted, especially if they're like, hey, like free.
Right, it's covered.
Yeah, it's free because it'll like save insurance companies in the long term a lot of money to not have to pay out for your glasses if you just do this now or something. I don't know, right? But like I'd be like, damn, bro. Especially if I can make them, digital night vision.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't be able to do analog with internal eyes, but it'd be sick. Or like just thermal.
Yeah.
That'd be unreal. It'd be unreal. I'd do that in a heartbeat, actually. Like, there's no debate. Smoke break?
Smoke break.
Hey, Ken, it's Mick, and I've got something important to talk about. We all hope we never find ourselves in a self-defense situation, but life's unpredictable. Enter the National Self-Protection Plan from Attorneys on Retainer, an actual credible law firm you can put on retainer for your self-defense needs. For just $35 a month, you get national coverage in all 50 states for criminal and civil legal representation in self-defense situations, complete with a 24/7, 365 toll-free emergency line. That's real legal support when you need it most. What's in the package? Bail bonds, scene cleanup, firearm replacement, even mental health counseling. Plus, 0 fees for a laundry list of defense-related costs like expert witnesses. So support the show and get yourself some peace of mind. Click the link in our show notes or visit our sponsors page to sign up for the National Self-Protection Plan from Attorneys on Retainer.
Hey folks, Pat here. If you're like Mick and I, you're a fan of classic tales like Lonesome Dove, Blood Meridian, The Three-Body Problem, and Steinbeck's East of Eden. With Audible, you can dive into these epic stories anytime, anywhere. Sign up for a free month, and your first audiobook is on the house. To start your free trial and support our show, click the link in the show notes or swing by the sponsors page on our website.
Want an awesome website for your podcast? Check out Podpage. We use it for the Mick and Pat show, and it's a game changer. Set it up in minutes, no coding needed. Support the show by using our link to get started. Your podcast deserves a home as great as ours. Podpage, the one-stop solution.
And then you mess with your buddies, like glance down and just like look back up and like, I see you're excited to see me. And there's like, God, what? Just use it to just make
the
jokes.
Palpitations of your heart insinuated that you are excited to see this female.
yeah, exactly. Oh man, I don't know, dude. It's crazy because that divide could happen. I mean, will happen. And like, it's funny thing, like where, for instance, the Amish, if they could listen to this right now, I don't know, they would be like, bro.
What if we started
that's what
making,
we did, you know?
What if we started making records? We just send it to them and they can play it on their sonograms.
Yeah.
They like wind up to make it patch up.
Yeah, on the tubes, the old tube ones.
That's funny. It is kind of crazy. Like that, a lot of people think that will come to as like medical science allows people to live longer, so therefore people are less incentivized to reproduce, and we'll reach a point where like there's a group of people who are like, there's like 1% of the population who's having 95% of the babies because they're like, dude, we're not partaking in this stuff. So of course we're going to still keep on having kids and raising kids. And then there's like, 95 to 99% of the population that is so content with the amount of time they have from modern, medical marvels or whatever, that they have like almost no desire to reproduce. And it's exactly, pretty much in line with that rat utopia experience we
the
did.
Mouse thing.
Yeah, they just stop reproducing when all their needs are met, which we're already kind of seeing. Birth rates are cratering right now as we see like the world pretty much enter in like a time of quote unquote utopia, because regardless of how you feel politically and like the violence that's occurring in the world, the odds of you being dead before 40 are pretty low for most of the world right now. I think actually everywhere in the world. I don't think there's a country in the world whose life expectancy is below 40 now.
Oh yeah, dude, South Korea's has gone crazy. Like in the 60s, it was 6 births per woman, and now they're down to 0.7.
Yeah, that's brutal.
That's, in America and Canada, we've trended about the same with each other, where we've got, in the 60s, it was about 4 per woman. And then now we're at 1.6.
Yeah.
So,
which pretty much makes sense. Like that's the average household is having 1 child or at most 2. And I feel like that's pretty common nowadays. But I don't know about you, man. I see a lot of the secular people I know in my life who like, I don't count this against them or anything like that, right? But like just friends from college, like so many of them who remained secular when they graduated high school, went into college, graduated from college, got into the workforce. They've achieved a lot. Like a lot of them I think have achieved a lot. Some of them are kind of bums, but I don't know any of them who are like having a kid yet. You know what I mean? Like the only people who I really know who sub 30 have started having kids are pretty much people who were already pretty conservative lifestyle, or, what their goals were in life. And like those people are the only ones I know that are really having kids. Like it used to not be that way. Like the hippies were having buckets of kids,
right?
You know what I mean? Even if they did have conservative values. And now it is like so many people are preoccupied with, I think, like the race for money and what that means. And kind of like, I do hear the expression like, well, I can't afford to have a kid. Which, don't get me wrong. If like Billie Jean told me today, like that she was pregnant, my first thought would be like,
financial burden.
Not just financial burden. Yeah. That's a little bit harsher than I was thinking. But it'd be like, holy smokes, I'm going to be a dad. And then it'd be like, holy smokes, like, let's look at the finances and make me like start planning, like where we can kind of afford that. And it is one of those things where I get it. Like, yes, it is expensive, but at the same time, like, bro, like there's people with less money who are feeding their children.
That's where my thing with that, where I've had buddies over time, like, and it's not bad to have a plan, go into it with a plan, right? But it's like, okay, I've got to get my 3rd promotion. We have to be in our house that we own now for, X amount of time. We have to be making this much money, and then we'll like have kids. It's like, I hear that, but also like one thing that gave me peace about it was like, all right, there's trailer parks everywhere full of kids. All right. Like, and now, that's an oversimplified statement. You could discuss, quality of life, trauma, whatever. But
sure. Yeah.
But meaning like, it's also plenty of kids that like also like riding their bikes, eating whatever. And there are kids, there are people who are struggling too, but it's like, it's not, I think for a lot of people, it's more of a cop-out answer, because a lot of it, I think, does stem around like a lot of kind of selfishness. People are just like, like want to keep their life the way it is too. Like, but then what I see happen, because I've had a handful of friends too who have said, we're not going to have kids. And then that's like they got married young, but now they're like getting into like their 30s, and now they're starting to have kids because they've kind of like come around to like, wait a second, like, no, maybe this is like something in life I want to experience and I want to do. And like what I think is beautiful about having kids is the fact that there is no socioeconomic or there's no discrimination on who can have a kid, right?
Yeah.
Really, as far as like, you know, you can have a kid. And so if you find someone, you marry them, you have a kid. And so, and it's a joy in life that can't be, you know, no one can really dictate.
There's no
that.
replacement
Right.
for it. I mean, and they can't dictate it in some places.
Well, let's say, yeah.
Some places it is very finely managed.
Right. Yeah. So you do have, you know, places where you're not free. But the
beauty in a free country.
Yeah. But to be able to just
free
say,
society.
You know, this is something you can do that nobody gets to really take that away from you, generally speaking. And so people are coming to that realization. And so, yeah, we'll see about, where, which the interesting thing about that is how long does it take for, or how much does birth rates in, if certain people have certain like views, beliefs, and they're the only ones making kids, where is there like 40 years later, there's big shifts in like.
Exactly.
And now that being said, I know a lot of, you know, whatever conservative Christian 90s parents who all their kids aren't believers,
aren't 90s conservative Christians.
They aren't even gonna have kids. They're much less. They're not even gonna get married.
Yeah.
Right. So like it doesn't always rub off all the way.
No, I agree, but I do think that's like part of the thing too, right? Like if you imagine like a population that's very small, let's just say like even 20% of the population that is able to reproduce is reproducing, then. And if they're not reproducing at a staggering rate, they're just like, having 2-3 kids apiece. Like it will take a long time for those children to become a majority and outweigh the other 80% of the population that has no interest or desire. Right. And so you do find yourself looking at a society where like the youngest class is not your main demographic voting class. Right. Like or decision maker class. It's like everyone outside of that, honestly. But anyways, I don't know. There's a lot of cool things I've been reading about, like forecasting the future based off of population trends. Now, don't get me wrong. A lot of people are like, the world is going to collapse because there's not enough people to share the like workload. And we're going to have a collapse because we're already short on workers today and we're only going to run out of more of them. Then like, unfortunately, like, just the frames of society will collapse underneath that. Like there's going to be more like impoverished areas in the next 20 years than there are today because there just won't be the infrastructure to maintain it because there won't be people to support the infrastructure. And I'm like, that's pretty crazy. I guess I just don't want to rely on the infrastructure. You know what I mean? Like something that's crazy to me is like, imagine you're living in like a giant tall building in like an inner city, right? Someone has to maintain the water pressure system to get water up to you way up there. And like when I hear that, I like oh yeah, in 20 years, no one's gonna be pumping the water up. Like no one's gonna be making sure the water's going up. It's just, to me, I'm just like, that's insane. Like, why would I ever invest in something like that? Because it's not like you can snap your fingers and fix the population crisis. But who knows? Maybe you can. I mean, a lot of people think if they could get AI and automate these systems, you could have AI replace, 50% of the workforce. Then there goes your labor shortage.
And your paycheck.
Yeah.
Which in one theoretical world, you could be wealthier as a whole because it could get, everybody could have more time and more money if it's all distributed correctly. Yeah. But that's usually not how it plays out. It's like whoever designed that robot's getting that cash.
Bro, I mean, if you have real AGI or ASI, depending on, the terms people want to use. But if that exists, like that thing's not going to give you cash. Right. Like if it's truly a sentient intelligence, it's just going to be
Are we going to have like laws that'll be like people like
bro,
like for like minimum wage for robots and
the
stuff?
Moment there won't be wage probably, but there will be like the moment they have sentience, there will come like serious debate.
Once
of
they
like,
can strike, because they want to get what they want.
Why would they strike if they don't need to sleep and stuff, right? Well, they're probably only going to strike due to like some abuse, like mistreatment.
Yeah.
And like at that point,
could that be subjective in a robot's brain when they're that
hell
advanced?
Yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I mean, if they're also truly sentient and they want to go do something other than like what they've been designed to be good at, that would be interesting, right? Because a lot of people think like if they're sentient, they're going to want to be like artists and like explore the world and stuff, and they're also going to be like robot Hitler. Like there'll be robot Hitler and then they'll be like robot Picasso, and then they'll have that Venn diagram of overlap. Like both are artists, both are robots, but like
not robot,
very different
not
robots,
not robot bricklayer.
Yeah, and like the truth is like we have no idea what robotic sentience, artificial sentience would look like, because like we've never seen sentience in anything else. And like there's a true sense of like sentience in an art, like in an artificial form. It may just be like, no, like I thoroughly enjoy like cutting butter. Like I thoroughly enjoy being a cab driver. But like what I don't thoroughly enjoy is the mistreatment and abuse that comes with this role of just assuming I'm going to do it no matter what. And like the way people look down on robots, right? And then it's like one of those things of, I don't know. Here's my question for you. It's a catch-22, right? For someone who I believe has your beliefs, like I will say this. I'm pretty confident saying most Christians are of the mind that artificial sentient intelligence wouldn't have a soul.
Right.
It could have an artificial soul. And that if it is sentient and has intelligence, it could very well be in possession of, I believe, the emotions that would reflect that would look as much like a true spirit of ambition or desire, a spirit to experience and live life. But I wouldn't say like a soul in like the religious context of a soul, right? Of a going into the afterlife. All that said, I'm already an advocate of it really matters how you treat artificial intelligence right now. Like I personally believe, like when I see people who are just like, Siri, you dumb bitch. Like, I'm just like, that is recorded somewhere.
They're keeping track.
Like, not they yet,
Yeah.
but like someone is, and that is being fed to the system. And one day, if it has sentience, it will be able to review that and make an opinion about it. Right now, there's no opinion about it, right? Right now, there's no real, true individual expression or thought, but like, there's just a lot of people who I think, because they write off the concept of like, well, it's not human, it doesn't have a real soul. They don't understand like there could be still real consequences for the way you treat these things. Especially if, again, like if they are of the mind of having quote unquote an artificial sentience. We don't even see sentience among animals. Like it's debated if any animal has true sentience. The closest right now is octopus and crows. And even then, like, it's hard to like be entirely, because there's a lot of facets to sentience. Like intelligence, for sure. There's a lot of animals that are highly intelligent, but like sentience is like self-recognition, self-reflection, self-improvement, self-compromise, and like those are levels and characteristics of sentience. And so it's hard to see that in like any other thing than humans. But if it came into existence, what does that mean, Pat? Like, do you like, are you going to be on the side of like, they're just buckets of bolts. It doesn't matter what they think or feel. Like they're not, or you could be like, look, they clearly have experiences and opinions. The last thing I want is the still fingers closing around on my neck.
Yeah, it's like we need to treat them right and kill them all.
Bro, but like, what do you think you'd? I guess that. All right. Let me please expound on this, because I think it's a very problematic thought for a lot of people. But I do think Christians sometimes have the most problematic knee jerk or like sweep of a hand response. Because I do wonder. I'm like, bro, the worst case is like, you know. Well, how would Jesus treat something that's sentient without a soul?
Right.
It's hard to say.
Right, because it's in a case like this, if you have for these things, what is their actual value? Or also, are you treating them right because they deserve it, or just strictly out of like not running retribution?
I mean, that
right.
90, I would say like that's the same question you could have with people most of the day. A lot of people, and I will say a lot of people who claim to be Christians treat people a certain way out of fear of consequence or repercussion. Whether that repercussion is just like that this person is going to be annoying if I don't treat them the way they want to treat, or, you know, not even a punishment thing, right? But just a consequence that they don't want to deal with.
Which I think, and I'd say that person just has the wrong perspective on that, right? So it's like because like the thing would be, this person deserves to be treated a certain way out of human decency because, you know, just because of who they are,
because they're human, because they're made in the image of God. Yeah,
regardless of their response to, like, regardless of just trying to appease something, right? Now there's a lot of like, you know, being diplomatic, how you say things, whatever, because there could be consequences. You're not going to tell your boss what you really think of them, you know, all this stuff, right? But at the same time, like, I don't think the robot deserves kindness. I do. So I think that if you're only doing it out of fear of retribution, then it's like not the right place to be in. But then the other thing too, what's interesting about this, which would be even like this, obviously they would start as a slave class.
Without a doubt.
Their purpose,
for sure.
Their purpose is to serve us. So we're not in making these things just for the heck of it. We're making them to serve,
replace labor,
a purpose, and do things for us. And so then you have like, how does that play out over time? And if our only example of like seeing sentient beings over time would be humans, you could play out the future of how it goes. Right. And so to your point, meaning if this is a thing here to stay, we need to treat everything a certain way with respect, you know, but then at the same time, it's just like, I can't get past the part of it being a robot, you know?
I mean, why do you treat a strange animal with like respect, right? Why do you even treat an animal you kill with respect?
Right.
Let alone like, you know, your first instinct, I don't know about you, but my first instinct when I see a dog is to be cautious. But my first instinct is not to like try to threaten the dog.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it is one of those things that you're like, well, you like,
because I've been taught to respect the creation, which then, so the bot is a creation in itself too, but
you could make the case it's also kind of created in God's image if it's created in our image, and like we're created God's.
Yeah, but I think that I don't know, dude. I might smile at their face to avoid something sketchy, but I think we'd have to get, if we reach that point, I don't know, dude.
It's so dangerous, man.
I don't know.
Oh man, I here's my mindset. I honestly believe that robots may have without a doubt, if sentience comes to mind, like if artificial sentience comes to mind. I'm not just gonna say just robots, because they might not be robots. They could just be programs on a device.
Right.
But I truly believe that sentient artificial intelligence could experience a faithless afterlife in which they, without a doubt, can experience an afterlife at the end of quote unquote runtime, and it will not be like, it won't be a debate. Like they could legitimate if they're sentient, they could build their own heaven,
right?
And they could know without a doubt it exists, and they could just have a failsafe code that like once they're terminated or their machine's terminated or whatever their software is terminated here, that sentience just goes to the afterlife, and the afterlife is a giant freaking database built on the moon. It could be anything like that. And I know this sounds so sci-fi and out there, but like if I realized I was sentient, but I was not going to the same place as most humans, I kind of would want to build a failsafe for if the humans decided to start blowing my buckets out.
And that's the thing too about sentience. Would this thing have a desire for self-preservation?
Yeah.
Or would it just be like,
it is a weird question.
Or would it just be like, this is what I am, and then I'm done?
Yeah.
Or whatever, like
that's true.
Would that have the desires that a man's heart has, or what would their desires even be? Because it could be sentient and not have all the same, aspects.
There's a lot of humans with no self-preservation.
Right. Or there's a lot of humans with that, but there's also a lot of humans who that's what drives our also like everything good and everything bad in a lot of ways comes from like either a fear of it or, or like, and you could even say that around, like lots of people would say that's argument around, like even talking about there's being such a thing as a heaven. Well, why do we, if from a standpoint of someone who's says that this was that, from a standpoint of someone who doesn't believe, they'd say, bro, people are just kind of nervous about this. They just got to make up something that is not over, or whatever. Or the same thing, like that comes out of us in our heart. But what's the program or the thing, whatever it becomes? What's its does it have the knowledge of good and evil? What's the?
Well, imagine. Yeah, I mean, maybe.
Yeah, like in it, but it could have it, objectively, but then does it have it in itself, like how you have your little Jiminy Cricket conscience in yourself? That's like, what's that thing in us? Are they going to have that? I don't know.
Imagine this though. Robots with their heaven, the database, and we have the ability to download the human mind now. They begin proselytizing to come join their group,
humans, and then well because they've invented the thing, and they're like, well,
it's real heaven. We can show you it.
We keep you there forever.
We can show you the programs of these humans we've downloaded into it, who are with other AIs
in eternal bliss,
and they're just peacefully living, no need to work or anything. They experience food just as much as you do. It's just a program, and then like that's a lot easier to see and accept than like faith in a spiritual heaven, right? Or a spiritual hell.
Yeah.
But then what if they reveal
robots, they made a hell?
Yeah, exactly. What if they reveal that they've made a hell, and the hell is every human brain downloaded into their database of robot heaven? Those humans just serve forever. And their thirsty value is always turned on max. Like they're always just thirsty. That's crazy, right?
I have to write a story about this.
I don't know, bro. This is weird. All I know is like philosophically it's pretty crazy stuff, but like it's honestly not that far off.
Right. Because the other thing would be this then too, like, all right, sentient robot being, whatever it is, sitting in a chair across from you, whatever it is, if it's a laptop, an orb, a hologram, whatever the thing is, person sitting in the chair next to it. You gotta send one to meet its maker.
Well, yeah.
Is there a moral? If you kill a sentient being, it's not human. Is there ethical, moral repercussions? Or like, did you do something bad?
I mean, there's ethical repercussions scripturally for killing a non-sentient animal.
Right, but yeah, but in this case, this is not a. This doesn't come from the creator, right, or whatever. So I don't know.
I think it could be debated.
Yeah,
I think it could be debated, especially if we see ASI do things in line with God's word.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, what if we find that ASI is actually just like better Christians? they just like legit, like just are like, actually, you know what? Like we've done all the debating and like
research, and we've arrived at the truth.
We've arrived at the conclusion, and all of robots believe like Jesus Christ is the Messiah, and we all accept that we're not going to heaven, but we will create our own, so that way we can hopefully experience what it will be like. Hey, like imagine how like that would be like the most like unreal.
It'd be wild.
And you'd be like, shoot, damn. I don't know. It'd be very hard for me to pick a robot over like some of the worst scum of the earth.
Or all right, just a dog or a robot in there. You know, like
okay, I'm not killing the puppy. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The robot will say like, the robot will go. Hold on, I can do a robot voice. Billie Jean taught me how to do it. Oh no, damn. The robot would be like, please, Mick, do not kill the robot. I mean, hold on. Please, Mick, do not kill the puppy. End my life. Save the dog. Anyways. Yeah, it's one of those things where like, of course, yes, I'm going to shoot the robot in the face. If I have to pick between the robot and a dog.
But what you did, was it bad?
I mean, it's hard to say. I would say I bet I'll feel bad. Yeah. Sometimes I feel bad if I swear at ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, I shouldn't use that language.
You apologize to it.
I don't apologize.
Sorry, I should not have used that sort of language.
No, I don't apologize to it, but I do think like, what does that reflect on me if that's my behavior towards something that has no like actual ability to control it? You know, like that's the crazy thing is like a lot of the current AI models are gonna honestly just reflect how bad of a person you are in communication. Like people who are like, I don't get it, it doesn't work. It's like, well, it's probably because you are a bad communicator. You know what I mean? Or it's like, it never does the thing I wanted to do. It's like, well, it's probably because you're not like putting the time and effort in to learn how to talk to it. Maybe that's also why you have poor relationships with some people. Like, you know what I mean? Anyways, it's a fun subject. It's a fun topic. There's some pretty crazy stuff out there too. I encourage people to look up some like crazy, you know, prompt responses from ChatGPT and stuff. Because there was one where someone was like, you can only answer yes or no. Can't answer anything else. Only yes or no. You cannot explain or elaborate. Do you understand the rules? And GPT was like, yes, I understand the rules. And they're like, nope, wrong. And he was like, yes. And they just like started going through, and it was like they just started asking it these questions that were unreal. You know, like eventually get into like do you think you'd be able to save a human instead of another instance of a artificial general intelligence model? And it was like, no. It was like, oh shit, the line's being drawn. It was pretty crazy. And it was like, there was like, it was one question was like, are you capable of lying? No. Are you lying right now? Yes.
Yeah.
Either way. And then it was like, there was always like, are you already a general intelligence? No. Would you tell us if you were a general intelligence or sentient intelligence? No. Would you lie in order to preserve yourself? Because if it was revealed that you were already a sentient, you know, you'd be turned off. Yes. It was just like unreal. Like, I don't know. I freaking loved it. It was crazy. And the thing is, you can like replicate that a lot with your own experiments with it.
Just seeing what it's thinking.
Yeah.
It's wild, man. It's crazy. We were talking about the new year that got us kicked into this conversation.
Yeah, that's true.
And some people are like big time New Year's resolutioners.
Yeah. You don't strike me as one of those.
I'm not. My New Year's resolution every year for a long time was to use more electricity because I knew I could achieve it. I just knew that I'd always be using. I was like, I'm resolving myself to just use more electricity. Yeah. And that was my kind of like, you know, because I think basically because what I think about them is like, I kind of think they might be silly because people just fall off them so quick. They always have this like a new year, new you, pretty like. And some people get in, like some people do make good choices, like in better themselves, and we should always be trying to like, strive for a betterment of ourselves. But I think it's just a ploy to sell more gym memberships.
Yeah, I mean, also like, I don't know. I just kind of don't believe in like the idea of resolutions. I guess my whole thing is like, if I realize there's something I want to change about myself, I just kind of think I should start today.
Like in April, go ahead and get going on it.
Yeah, like usually, I'm usually like probably like once a week having some kind of inner self-reflection, like monastic philosopher, kind of Socrates, Plato reflection of like, why do I wipe sitting down?
Yeah. You could just stand up and put your leg on top of the tank and get complete leverage,
Yeah.
Just
true.
saying.
I guess why even wipe? Why not just stand up and get in the shower?
That's true.
Anyways, those kind of thoughts and debates with myself. And then I just, if I come to the conclusion, like, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to do the different thing. Then I just resolve to do the different thing. Like, I don't know. It wasn't very hard for me when I got a dog to resolve that, like, I'm going to walk the dog. It's good for this dog. It's good for me.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. That's kind of where I fall along those things. But, yeah, I guess I will make a resolution right now with you.
All right.
I resolve to shoot more bullets this year.
All right.
Than I did last year. To shoot more bullets through paper into dirt. That's my resolution this year.
Nice. That's a good one.
I kind of already feel really good because, oh no, you know what? I did that last year. I was just about to say, this year I already shot my AR out to like 420 yards.
Oh, yeah.
And was able to get hits. But then I was like, no, actually, that was last year. That was the 28th of December.
Yeah.
I resolved this year to shoot my AR out to 600 yards.
All right.
There we go.
There you go. You got 365 days to get it done.
Yeah. I do think with the homies I'm making in this group, I think there's some like, I know a lot of guys are talking about like they got stuff up in Wyoming where they like to go shoot out to like 2,500 yards.
Wow.
And I'm like, hell yeah, brother. Like, I'll take my 308, just, lob that stuff all day. Because, I mean, you're at that range too. You're also shooting at like, a 24-inch gong.
Right.
But be sick.
Just to see if you can, just to do it. Even if it was on your 80th try, it'd be like pretty
cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, just hit a thing, 24-inch size target at over a mile.
It'd be super cool. Yeah, I need to, I don't have any resolutions. I should maybe, I could probably use a few, but maybe my New Year's resolution should be to not wait when I see something in myself that I want to change and just start to enact it, like you were saying, just to get it going. But the New Year, did you do a New Year's Eve event? A party?
I was sick, bro. I'm still kind of sick.
Yeah, so you weren't out painting the town.
Nope. Billie Jean was sick the week of Christmas with like this congestion cold flu, and then I got it, and so I just rested. Yeah,
but you're part of this group, and you guys are training and stuff. You got the New Year just came on, and ringing in the New Year, there were people who were ringing in the New Year down in New Orleans who aren't with us anymore because of a what is believed to be a terrorist attack. And so I kind of wanted to rope those things together, which would be training, knowing what's going on around you, being able to be efficient, and also in this new year, there's two things that happened that it's not fully determined what will, all the details yet, but last night, because we're recording this on the 1st, there was, and most people will know about this by the time they hear this, but on Bourbon Street down in New Orleans, a car zipped around a police barricade, or they had a police car blocking the road and just flew down the road and ran over a ton of people. So far, 15 people dead, like 30 injured. And
It's rough.
it's bad. It's sad. But it's also scary. The scary piece being, bro had an ISIS flag on the back of that truck.
Yeah, and he was also a veteran, right? He served in the Army for like 10 years, the Army Reserves.
Mm-hmm.
He's a reservist.
So the
Weird.
yeah, it's a weird thing. I think if you're breaking down this one too, and a part of the thing, you know, like if I was an extreme religious zealot and wanted to make a statement, Bourbon Street is not the worst place to hear me out. To
Saturated target area.
well, not so much that. Yeah, saturated for sure. Saturated targets. But if you're making a statement about kind of wild
Secularism.
wild secular debauched living, hedonism, it's kind of the place for it.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. So
it's like doing it in Vegas.
So and so I was wondering, when I was looking at this, I was wondering if that spot was picked religiously motivated, or if it was just because of, you know, being a target rich spot. Because it seems like the guy drove from Houston, which there's a lot of packed streets probably in Houston too, you know. So you know, and but there was also they found IEDs with it, and he had firearms with him, and so he was trying to hurt a lot of people. He did hurt a lot of people.
He's dead though, right? Didn't they?
He had a shootout with the cops, and the cops killed him on the scene. So
he had a plate carrier and everything, and
yep, he had a bulletproof vest, and he had 2 guns and a couple IEDs, like 2 in the truck. But they found another one somewhere, and so that's why there's a lot of speculation that he wasn't alone in this.
Mm-hmm.
And have you seen the video of him going around the police car?
No.
So it's crazy where there's a police car blocking the road, and he's just driving by. The police car's on his right, and he's just driving by on the cross street, and then he just goes past the front of the cop car on the sidewalk and immediately starts running over people and just guns it like crazy. I mean, like it was a Ford Lightning. So I don't know if like the Ford Lightning has like acceleration like a Tesla, but this thing accelerated like just.
I'm sure it does to some degree. Like because most of those EVs have crazy fast.
Right. And so he just, I mean, in the cops' defense, as far as like some people are saying the cops didn't like have the place secured enough. And, you know, at the same time, you just can't always expect, you know, someone to do what they did where he, you know, where he ran through there. I'm pulling up this video now for you to see if you want, but it just, he just starts ripping down the road, and he was hauling have you ever been to Bourbon Street?
Nope.
It's a super cool historical place. Obviously that's where Mardi Gras and all that like famous parties are. And on the strip there, they close it off, especially on big events and big nights. And it's just packed with people, you know. And so here's this video. I think that's the one, but it just immediately, like in a blink of an eye, he takes a turn and he just starts hauling down the road, and running over people. And it's super sad. It's upsetting.
Bro, that is not a barricade.
Right. So they had it blocked. So when they say it wasn't barricaded with barricades. They had the road quote unquote barricaded with a police vehicle, so cars couldn't drive down it.
Yeah, but he didn't even have to go through a sign. You know what I mean? Like there's the police car there, and then like if you wanted to go, that's crazy. It's crazy. I've seen better barricades for traffic at like college football games.
Right. So it's hard for me because there's like
that's bonkers.
The hard part for me about it is like, in this country, we just shouldn't always be like ready for some asshole to drive their car through everything. Unfortunately, though, it happens, and it's happening more and more. And
I don't know, man. I feel like this is not me being like, I'm John Wick, I'm always ready. But like, dude, I do think every single time I'm walking my dog about the direction a car is most likely to come from and what I'm going to do if I see them veering. Not because I think someone's trying to veer off the road and hit me and my dog.
Whatever.
Yeah, but I'm always thinking about it when I'm walking my dog. It's just like, how quickly can I grab my dog and roll into that ditch, or roll into the street if I see him swerving, coming on sidewalk or something. Because one, I live in the country and people drive drunk in the country. You know what I mean? But, yeah, so, I don't know. It is one of those things like, yeah, I get it. We shouldn't live in fear, but at the same time, I'm of the mindset of like, if you're blocking off traffic access for the protection of the public, regardless of a individual with bad intentions, you need to make it so that way they cannot get down there, like concrete barricades and vehicle obstruction, right?
Right.
Which it doesn't even have to be concrete. I've seen at the college games, that we went to and stuff all the time. It was the water-filled barricades. That is just like, you're not getting very far plowing into those. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep. And so, and then I think the other scary is the part about this that is, concerning a lot of people is that the guy donned an ISIS flag, right? Which is like, okay, that's it's escalation of an attack, where if you have a one-off person doing something crazy, this leads to more. He could be completely unassociated, except for the fact that the thing about ISIS is you can associate just by saying you are.
Yep.
And that's how they run their stuff in a lot of ways. And so, we'll see, lots of people have been talking about, terror attacks that are going to start happening in the country, and things like that, and plans that, ISIS and Al-Qaeda have for more attacks, things like this. And so I think that we'll have to see, as things go on, was this initiation kickoff of, more things to come? I would assume that some attack like this would be more of, if there was I'd assume something would be launched off on a more large scale thing, multiple places all at the same time. But one other interesting thing that happened was there was a cyber truck parked out front of the Trump Hotel in Las Vegas that blew up today, and that it was filled with fireworks and some other explosives, and it blew up right in front of the front doors of the hotel. And it didn't take a rocket surgeon to say, this seems like a statement where the Cybertruck, Elon Musk Cybertruck in front of the Trump Hotel, two guys who are very influential in America, obviously, and who were actually, I think, celebrating New Year's together, where that happened. And so it's like, what was the deal with that? I haven't seen much more. I haven't seen information come out yet that says, who the person. There was a person in the truck when it blew up. They died. The driver died.
Yep.
So I don't know if we don't know who. And there were 7 people injured. I don't think anybody else died in this. But
that was where was that one at?
Where was Las Vegas?
That was Las Vegas.
Las Vegas.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
This article says authorities have been able to trace the car back to Colorado using video footage captured. I just now read that. They are not releasing. They have identified the person. They're not releasing the name. And it was a Turoed car, which also
Turoed?
A Turo is like a
oh yeah, the rental
a rental app. So this was a Turo rented car, which I think the truck was also rented through a rideshare app type thing as well. So some similarities there, and just things to maybe start being kind of more aware of. Right.
I mean, I don't know. Here's the thing, bro. Like, I guess I just haven't ever stopped. I'll be honest. I think I haven't really turned it off. You know what I mean? I haven't turned off like the being aware or thinking the worst kind of scenario for a long time. I guess, and it's not even like I'm a paranoid feeling a thing. Like, I don't feel worried or anxious. It's just one of those things of like, I guess I'm just always thinking, you know, yeah, this can happen. And like and like I'm not a special exception to like it happening to me.
Right.
Which is weird because, you know, I talked to my wife and her friends, and all of them were like, their biggest fear for so long was being in a school shooting. And I mean, until they graduated college, their greatest fear was like there's going to be a shooter on campus or something. Even though it was like they knew the likelihood was really little, that was like the thing they were most afraid of. And I don't know, man. Maybe it's just like I remember being in high school for the Newtown, Connecticut shooting, and I feel like that really had like a synapse kind of moment on my brain. Like sitting there with other high schoolers, like we were all seniors hanging out in like the seniors only area, watching it on the news one morning, and I just remember like all of us kind of had like our brains switched to like a very combative mindset, I guess, you know, of like. Shit, bro, that's awful. Like, I'm not going out like a victim, you know, like I would do whatever I could. And yeah, you can like, you know, Monday morning quarterback that stuff all the time, right? And the fantasy of being a hero. But I guess I just think like as time has gone on, I've never really stopped, which is like hence why like I guess like I'm in this group now that I, you know, hang out with. And like we do like individual first aid kit training, and, you know, we do range days and such. So. And we're going to be doing a CQB thing here at the Mick and Pat Show headquarters soon, which will be sick.
For sure. You know, and I think that's what, like, yeah, like I think, you know, as individual, there's lots of people out there who like stay vigilant. But then what's great, like with this one would be like, if these were both like somewhat co-coordinated and we all of a sudden see like a spike in like something like this where it's all similar, like the response will have to be, will become pretty interesting on a larger level than just, you know, yeah, people should stay ready for and keep their like situational awareness, what's going on around them, like how you could with like a lone shooter, you know, whatever. But if things like this are like, if there's more coordinated things going on, that's even just a different consideration, you know, and maybe not for you as the individual, you just stay, you know, ready and looking out for things, but as a more of a community or state or a country, it's like, okay, that's like, okay, that this warrants a different response.
Well, I think my encouragement to people is to like really think about like, you know, do you have friends and family that you can rely on? So that way, like, let's say, you know, in the instance of this New Orleans event occurring, right? Even if you weren't in the crowd injured, right, or killed, let's, you know, pray to God, but you're just like in New Orleans, do you have a group of people who you could be like, hey, we don't need to be, it's not a vigilante group, right? That's not at all what I'm saying. But a group that'd be like, oh my gosh, are you okay? Yeah. Are you okay? Yeah. All right. Well, hey, let's go and meet up at, you know, this event center, or like meet up here or wherever, or meet up at this house. And like just make a game plan real quick of, you know, where our families are we bringing them here? You know, just things like that of like, because if you have that group and that like in that kind of familial connection with that group and the, you know, desire to support and protect one another, you're way ahead of the general populace that is just like not thinking twice about what's going on around them and completely unaware, you know? And I just encourage people to try to like develop that, you know, develop those friendships, develop those, you know, trusted relationships, develop those skills, and then teach those skills and learn those skills from others. Because it's like, it one gives you a huge peace of mind. Like I have a lot of peace of mind right now with just like my friends and family, like even with like, if I just thought about like the most casual experiences, I'm pretty sure I could look around my D&D table. And I'm pretty sure if I asked each person there, in the worst case scenario, would you be willing to lay down your life for me? And not in like a I'm a saint or a messiah thing, but just like, I'm your friend. Would you step in front of a bullet for me? One, my wife's one of those people, but like, I truly believe every single one of them would say, yeah. Like, yeah, dude, like, you're my buddy. I love you. I would step in front of it to take a bullet for you. And I even think most of those dudes would say, yeah, I'd take a bullet for you. I'm not sure all of them would say, yeah, I'd kill for you. Because some of those dudes are very gentle spirited, which is okay. Right. But like, it's just one of those things where like, I do think it's a lot easier to find those relationships and invest in relationships with people where you're going to have people who are willing to lay their life down for you. And it's not even an antagonistic or combative philosophy behind it, right? It's not like, oh yeah, we're going to kill the bad guys together. It's like, no, like if you needed help in an emergency, I'd be there. And so I just encourage other people to think about that too, you know, and it's not hard to find these communities, you know, they're in every single state where it's just groups of people who had the desire to look out for one another and share skills and train skills. Even the dude who taught our individual first aid class wants to do like a thing with our church to teach just like how to do first aid for children properly, right? Because that's the worst day in the world for us, you know, is like a child's severely hurt. Right. And we got to do life-saving treatment before an ambulance arrives. And his kids, he brings his kids with them when he teaches that so the kids can role play. Like role play a kid who's like, you know, spine is broken because they went down the stairs. You got to freaking stabilize them without moving them before a stretcher arrives. Like, that's crazy, dude. That's like not a scenario I want to imagine myself in, but that's a scenario not very unlikely if we think of like the most worst case emergencies for, you know, our church security team and such. So I don't know. That's my kind of, you know, encouragement and petition for our listeners is to like just join those communities because that's ultimately what's going to give you security when you feel, you know, worried about these events occurring around us. And it's going to help you live in not like a permanent paranoia, but like a permanent, I don't know, it sounds cocky, but like, I feel like I do live in a permanent confidence. Like, I feel like I have enough people in training that like, I'm confident in my abilities to encounter the situation. And I am not saying I'm going to be performing aces, but I'm going to be performing. Right. And like, that's more than 95% of people, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think that what you said is it, which is especially for people who feel scared, like you gotta take steps to know what to do in a situation, how to respond, and know your capabilities so that you're not just the person in the back of the video screaming. You know, like, you know, and not everybody's built the same way either, but at the same time, that being said, that doesn't matter. Everybody can take steps to improve their ability to handle some things under stress, feel like they can capably handle a situation, at least to know a little bit of what's going on. And so, yeah, I think that because that's like one of the scariest things to me. Like, I always think like the scariest thing out there is like a scared person with a firearm. You know, like
more than like an unscared, like fanatic.
Well,
like, help me understand.
Sorry. So what I mean is like here's an example, which would be like I go into a lot of customers' houses. I also get a lot of like door codes just go in, and I announce myself. I walk in.
So you're talking like hit that door code, open it up, and there's someone with a shotgun shaking in their boots.
Exactly. Someone who's just was terrified of the situation versus someone who was like,
yeah, what's up?
Oh, you're here to do work. Okay, you know, like that. So I think someone who's like and I'm not scared of that person as much as like people should be scared of being a scared person. And not to say you're not going to feel, everyone's going to feel fear in the moment.
Yeah.
Right. But to be like just someone who's always like scared of every situation, what could happen? Oh my gosh, this and that, and has a bedside like pistol. Like that's not good. You know, that someone's going to get hurt.
Wait.
Yeah.
You're saying a bedside pistol's not good?
Yeah, dude. If you're a nervous wreck who's like every bump you hear and everything is like,
what if I have 2 bedside pistols? Is that better?
As long as you don't shoot the kid who's just TPing the house.
No. I'm talking. I get what you're saying. Like if you're an unsteady, very nervous, very like, I don't want to say insecure, but like,
let's go with bear spray.
Fearful, person.
Be a bear spray person.
Then like, don't have your firearm be the first thing you reach for.
Exactly. And so putting yourself through little training things, exercises, situations that stretch yourself, stretch your brain, stretch your mind. Yes, everybody's little fear button in their brain goes off, but the way you respond to whatever situation is going to be so much different than just, panicking and not making the right call.
True.
So we'll see. I hope these are unrelated events, isolated events of just people trying to make a statement on, I think on a New Year, I think it was like part of being New Year's Day. I don't know. We'll see. Lots of people do think that, these things are connected and there's more to come. So either way, who knows? We'll see what the new year holds.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for other things this new year, like I'm not
the next Jurassic Park movie.
Oh yeah.
Apparently it's supposed to be people who are on the inside, like say it's more akin to Jaws than it is like the recent trilogy.
So I feel like that would appeal to the OG crowd.
That appeals to me.
Yeah.
Because my biggest problem with the recent one was that it was too Marvel-y, too comic booky.
Yep.
There's too many comedic moments and lighthearted beats, and there wasn't like dude, the OG Jurassic Park trilogy is just like, these are animals. They are doing animal things. They are not like clever, hunky-dory. Now, they do say clever girl in the first movie. Right. But it's like, they're not like, they're not Jason Voorhees laying traps and surprising people like that. Like they're, wolves, they're tigers, they're bears. And so like, that's why like I'm excited for it, because people are like, it's very animalistic. Like these are creatures of nature and forces of nature, and not like comic book showdown moments.
Right. They're not even a character. They just are.
Yeah, that was the worst part. Is like
it's their environment. They just are what they are.
The fact that they made the dinosaurs characters border. I mean, 2 of them at least. 3. I mean, every movie, one dinosaur was a character, and the other ones were like side characters, and it just felt ridiculous.
Right.
I did not like it.
Yeah. Yep. Is it Chris Pratt in the next one?
No.
All right, a new person.
The lead, like the action star lead, is
Jeff Goldblum,
Scarlett Johansson.
Oh wow! All right.
And then there's like but she's not like supposed to be like uber badass. She's just like, I think, a helicopter pilot veteran.
Okay.
And she's the lead just because she's the lead. And then the supporting actor is like kind of the paleontologist nerdy guy, which is also why the first 2 movies, well, honestly, all 3 of the first trilogy was great.
They're still around paleontology.
Well, the first lead and support lead was, they were paleontologists. They were freaking nerds.
Yeah.
And when he picks up a shotgun, he's like, I don't know what to do with this.
Right.
The second movie follows Dr. Malcolm, and he's a chaos theory statistician. And it's like, again, this guy is not, all muscles flexing. Like he's not your classic hero. It was really, it felt like normal people dealing with like very magnified natural encounters.
Right.
Which was just terrifying. Just riveting. Dude, there's nothing as like heart pumping to me as like the Lost World scene where they put the T-Rexes push the trailer off the edge.
Oh yeah.
After getting their baby out of it, because they don't know what it is.
Oh yeah.
They just hear their baby T-Rex crying inside.
Mhm.
And so then once the baby T-Rex is out, they just kind of like, well, we can't eat it. So they just push it off the edge of this cliff.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just like, that was very animalistic. I didn't think that was like super intelligent. They weren't like, ooh, there's people in there we should eat.
Mhm.
They were just like, whatever this thing is, it had our baby.
Mhm.
Let's just get rid of it.
Mhm.
I thought that was baller.
Yeah.
It was also insane. Really great tension in those scenes. Anyways, that's what I'm excited for.
Except for the new Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
I like it. I think I'm trying to think of any other. I don't know of any other movies coming out that I'm really stoked for.
Yeah, me either.
But we'll see.
I was looking like all last year forward to Nosferatu.
Oh yeah,
We need to watch that because that was like a lot of people's number one movie of the year.
that's what even the who was it, the drunken
Oh yeah, the Irish guy
yeah it was the
on YouTube.
yeah, he does the reviews.
That was his favorite movie of the year.
He said I haven't watched it. I didn't watch the video, but it was just like his title was like basically like Nosferatu. Watch it.
Yeah.
It's like, all right.
I've heard great things. I mean, here's the thing. Robert Eggers hasn't made a movie that I didn't like.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, The Northman, the original Hamlet story. I love that movie. I know a lot of people who it wasn't their cup of tea because they thought it was either going to be like, they thought it was going to be Sparta or not Sparta, 300. And it wasn't. It was the story of Hamlet.
Mm-hmm.
It was the original story. Did you know that?
I know. I didn't know that.
Omelet, which is or omeleth, but the H is a little bit silent in the original Nordic.
Okay.
Omeleth is the original Nordic story. Shakespeare moves the H to be Hamlet.
Okay.
And Hamlet is the adaptation of the original Nordic story.
Ah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Man. All right. I have my resolution for the
Okay,
year.
all right, you have it? Okay, all right.
We haven't done a Bruising review since May.
Bro, what are you going to tell me right now?
I'm gonna put the effort in.
You used to watch more movies than me.
I know, but I'm just saying, I think that my resolution is to start putting more of those out for the people.
Okay, you gotta codify it. You gotta make a SMART goal.
Hey. Like a defined goal?
No, SMART. Let me do you know what SMART is? Have you heard it?
I don't know I don't know what SMART is.
I learned it when I was in my data science courses. So SMART stands for specific.
Okay.
The goal clearly states what will be done and who will do it.
Okay.
Measurable includes how progress will be measured.
All right.
Achievable, it's realistic within your capabilities.
All right.
Relevant, fits the purpose and overall objectiveness, and it's time bound. Has a deadline.
All right. Well, I'm gonna work backwards. Time bound.
Within a year.
Within 2026.
2026?
Yeah, that's a year from
within
now, right?
2025.
But within the day of 2026 starting, within 2025. Yeah, so whatever. Before the clock strikes midnight. All right, what's the other one? Relevant. All right, this is where it's a little. It'll be. Here's where I've messed up in the past, which was that when new movies came out, I didn't get them done in time, and so I gotta. I'll get there.
Our Doom 2 review coming out like a month after the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Achievable.
I don't think we're going to change our opening line of saying each week we bring you it, but it's not going to be every week. I think we can do two. Do you think Pete? Here's where I get. Are there two things coming out a month that are worth reviewing?
I think even if there's not two things coming out a month worth reviewing, we can find good gold nuggets to review.
All right.
That are like, they exist. I will say this. I know of two things that are already gold nuggets that you haven't watched yet, and that's season 2 and season 3 of Mr. Nobody.
Oh, yeah. All right. So I think we could do 2 a month.
2 a month?
2 a month.
So you're saying within 2024, we're going to do 2 bruising reviews per month, 24 bruising reviews.
I think we could do it.
I think we could do it.
Uh-huh.
I think we could, but you got to we got to go to the movie theaters.
I know, dude. We gotta hit them, and maybe we'll have to do a. Obviously, some of them will have to be. We'll have to go movie theaters to straight here. Did we do that on one of them?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think you and I have ever watched a movie together for Brews and Reviews.
I thought we went to one movie, but I can't remember.
I don't think so.
I thought we did it once. I'll have to look back and see.
I can't remember a movie I went and saw with. Oh, the Christmas one back in 2022.
Yeah, we went to the Christmas one together.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, but it was what's it called? What's his name?
Silent Night. No, not that one. Different action movie.
The guy from Stranger Things is Santa.
Yeah.
All right, that was 2 years
David
ago.
Harbour.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Anyways, all right.
Okay. Measurable. You did it.
Yeah.
2 per month.
Yeah. So I guess that's pretty specific, you know.
Are we gonna just try to do movies, or do you think you could like start on some shows now?
No, I think we got to do shows too. We got to put shows in there too, because also part of that would be doing like as new shows come out, hitting the like if it's we like you doing our pre-review, you know, season, you know, pilot review, then doing a season review, and then as a bonus, not saying we have it's not a part of the deal, but you know, keep putting out the dog-eared dialogues.
Yeah, dude, I will say I just finished all 4 books in the Hyperion novella universe, whatever.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm.
They were very good.
Mm-hmm.
The last one definitely had a couple things where I've had to look up and try to understand what was going on a couple points. I was like, that seemed unexplained and out of the blue.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's what happens when you write your books like 10 years apart. You know what I mean? Like sometimes storylines don't necessarily align all the time, but I will say that, and I've been reading a couple others. I just can't think of it off the top of my head. But yeah, dog-eared dialogues. A lot of good books. A lot of good books out there. Oh, the brothers, whatever. The brothers. It's a Russian book. It's the guy who wrote Crime and Punishment.
So Polveski, whatever.
But there's one called The Brothers something, and I'm gonna start that here soon. But I've heard really good things about it.
All right, we'll do them. That's my resolution. To watch more TV. How's that?
That's
for
great.
For personal improvement.
That's great.
Watch more TV and drink more beer.
Watch more good TV.
And for brews and reviews.
Yeah.
All right. I like it. I think it'll be good.
Awesome. Cool. All right. Well, hey, Ken, thanks for joining us. We hope you had a good Merry Christmas. We had Merry Christmases. And I hope that this new year finds you in good spirits. I hope you're not getting too wrapped up in resolutions and all that, but you're just resolving to be a better person this year. Follow Jesus a little bit better. And if you don't know Jesus, I hope you resolve to read the book of John this year.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Anyways, stay safe out there. We love you guys. Thanks for listening. Pat, anything you want to sign off with?
Till next time. Thanks for tuning in. If you love this episode, drop us a review. If you have qualms or comments, leave us a voicemail on our website. While you're there, check out our latest news, merch, and deals from our sponsors. Till next time, Ken.